Yeah, so Netflix has released a new Transformers show called Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Book 1 Siege. Yeah, that is quite a mouthful. I do recognise the Book 1 Siege is part of the season's name, but it seemed to show it a lot in the advertisement, so that's what I'm going to call it. It's a new show by Rooster Teeth. Now, I must admit, I had to look up whether the fact this is a sequel to their other Transformers work, and as far as I'm aware, not, but it doesn't say otherwise, so I can't tell you on that one, I'm afraid. Does it have to touch though? Honestly, yeah. It does have some minor problems, such as you gotta know a lot of the lore, like you gotta know who Alpha-Trion is, what the Allspark is, the Matrix, Energon, Dark Energon, and this new thing called the Alpha-Trion Protocol, which is, I think it's borderline what the Matrix is to a certain degree, but it just don't make you a leader. Yeah, weird. I think it don't help with the fact that the show is rather short, being 24 minutes an episode, but 6 episodes long. You binge it in about 3 hours, so it's enjoyable 3 hours, don't get me wrong, but it's rather short. The good stuff is, this is the darkest Transformers show that I've seen since Prime, really. Like, this is not a good versus evil sort of depiction of the war like they normally do. It outright talks about the bad stuff Autobots have done, the bad stuff Decepticons done. Because from what I gather, the Autobots were kind of a 1% sort of people, and the Decepticons were kind of the working class. And eventually they tried to throw up the system, stuff like that. Megatron was basically the working class hero. But then he started to get greedy, as the story goes. Optimus and that splits up, and that's where the full-on war comes about. It's rather interesting because with that darkness you see a lot of the grim elements, like the Decepticons being massive dictators, Megatron depicting certain people you could probably recognise throughout history, stuff like that, which is rather good. The deaths are surprisingly pretty grim. There's one where one of the Autobots just get ripped to pieces by a group of, I won't reveal what they are, the group of Decepticons, let's leave it at that. And these are named characters, not random Billy Bob in the corner or something like that. These are named characters who die. One of the good things as well is that if you like the old Generation 1 designs, they brought that back. It's the classic designs from the original show, but it's got a bit of a darker, grittier feel to them. They've got like, it's the same model, but the colour's a bit scratched off, body parts been damaged, stuff like that. I mean, the windows on Optimus Prime's chest have been like all cracked and stuff like that from the war. It's rather good. Like, I think Megatron's got like a big scratch on his chest plate, stuff like that, which is rather good designs. The characters themselves are really interesting as well, because a few of them are pretty much their classic interpretations, like Optimus, the good hero and stuff like that, but this time round people question him, which is rather weird if you think about it. Shows have had him questioned, but never to this degree. Even some of the regular characters have very different sort of stories to them. Like, for example, Bumblebee is not even an Autobot in this. He's just a random scavenger who just gets thrown into the fight. So it is a bit different there. It still feels like the classic characters, but it's just a bit different. Megatron himself has surprisingly got a lot of depth to him. Being the working class hero, just you see him basically go from that to a full-on dictator who will do anything to win this war. So you see him execute prisoners of war and stuff like that, which is makes even his own troops rather disagree with him. So that's very interesting. Like I said, I don't want to reveal much of the plot or what I've already said, but I'll just reiterate. Basically, Megatron wants the Allspark to win the war, and Optimus has basically got to get it off the world. It surprisingly happens very quickly with it all, but it's very action-packed though. There's a lot of fights and stuff like that, but a lot of dialogue as well. There's good development between the characters, like Ultra Magnus and Megatron seem to be brothers, which has never really been done before as far as I'm aware. But even classic relationships like Optimus Prime and Lita 1, it doesn't outright say it, but they do seem to have some kind of romantic relation to each other, which I don't think's ever been done since the original show. So that is definitely interesting. I'll say this, I'll definitely will watch the other 2 seasons, especially when I heard about season 3 is going to reintroduce the Beast Wars. And especially the cliffhanger the first season's ended on. It's going to be rather interesting. So, yeah, if you're a classic Transformers fan, I do actually recommend it. It's very interesting, fairly intelligent as well, and rather fun. If you're a new fan, I'd be cautious on it because of the lore and that stuff. I'd recommend Transformers Prime for a beginner. You can get, I know for a fact the first season's on Netflix, so you'll get an idea of whether you like Transformers or not through that, I reckon, and then go and check out the new one. Right, thank you everyone for this very short little discussion on the new Transformers. I hope you like it. I plan to do more stuff like this in the future with wherever I can get my hands on, just TV shows, films, books, games, music. See what happens. Might be a laugh. Right, bye.